Welcome to another episode of The Blitz. I will be your host, Bryan Greer, and today I will be going over the Canelo Alvarez versus James Kirkland junior welterweight fight. What can you say about this fight for Canelo that has not already been said? Pure domination. He won in the third round by a devastating KO. I still cannot believe how he put James Kirkland out flat. That will be the KO of the year in boxing. Just an amazing performance for Canelo, and just we all know he's the young superstar of boxing, and this fight really just puts him in another stratosphere, in my opinion, especially after his last performance against Lara, where I believe Lara won, and he didn't look too good going into the late rounds, and his cardio was a little suspect. But James Kirkland came out in the first round, the aggressor. I don't know what he was thinking, trying to brawl with Canelo, who we all know is that's his style, and he just came out with no game plan and really just tried to just fight in the telephone booth. And in the first round, went right at Canelo, was just right in his chest, trying to just dirty box with him, short punches, and really wasn't getting any really success against Canelo. Canelo was just teeing off on him one after another in the first round, and actually knocked him down against the ropes in the corner in the middle of the first round. And I almost thought the fight was over there for Kirkland, because he just did not look at any kind of strategy whatsoever, was just going in there on pure heart and will, and was just getting knocked around the first round. This was an absolute just vicious round for Canelo, and just great combinations, and just bobbing and weaving and keeping Kirkland on his heels, and he actually survived the first round. And in the second round, James Kirkland actually looked a little bit fresher, and actually I believe he won the second round. He was on pure heart, really put Canelo against the ropes, was working him, going back and forth, but Canelo still was landing his uppercuts just one after another. The right hook, I mean, everybody knows his right hand is devastating, and he was just teeing off again on Kirkland, and landing at will. Kirkland had no defense whatsoever. He was just going in there brawling, and you do not brawl with Canelo, because you will lose. Canelo's never been knocked down, and again in this fight was not going to be knocked down. And in the third round, it was all over Kirkland. Going out there with wild punches once again, just no game plan, looking just all like, going for broke. And that right hook from Canelo landed, and it just spun around Kirkland, and he was out cold. And that was a vintage knockout for Canelo. I don't know, still to this, moment, know what Kirkland was thinking, going in there just trying to find a telephone booth with Canelo. That was a dominating performance for Canelo, and it's time for Canelo to fight bigger names, because Kirkland was coming back. Everybody knows that he did not train with Ann Wolfe, the famous boxing trainer. He went with somebody else, and obviously their game plan was not on par with what Ann Wolfe has done, because anytime he has trained with her, he usually puts on a good performance. But the two losses he's had now have been when he's not trained with Ann Wolfe before his match. So for Canelo, this now puts him in line, I believe, to fight somebody like Miguel Cotto, or one day, probably not in this recent, or in the near future, fight somebody like Gennady Golovkin, Triple G. But he made easy work of James Kirkland, and he just has to fight bigger names. I know he fought Mayweather in 2013, but this guy is really the future of boxing, in my opinion. Only 24 years old, just a vicious knockout artist, and I think that if Miguel Cotto wins his next fight in June against Daniel Gil, he'll be right in line, to fight him at the end of the year, and that'll be a super fight. I believe and 2 knockout artists going at it. So kudos to Canelo, who just continues to just improve from his fight in 2013 against Floyd Mayweather. Now going 3-0 since that fight, beating Angulo, and then beating Lara, and now beating Franklin. And what can you say? This guy is everything. As long as he keeps working on his cardio, I believe he is the next big superstar of boxing. So, with that being said, I want to hear your thoughts about that fight. Do you think it was Canelo's best performance of his career? Do you think he should fight Miguel Cotto next, or somebody else? What do you think about in the future him fighting Triple G? Do you think that's a good fight for him to move up to middleweight and fight him? And everybody, I want to, thank you for watching. And as always, like this video, comment on the fight, and subscribe to our channel, Unrivaled Multimedia. And until next time, take it easy.